Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is a little bit late for reasons I'll get into at the end of the video. And you may hear some noise in the background here. There's a hot water tank going because of me doing this before I took the video. Yes, I felt you deserved me taking a shower, which I'll get into that too. So let's check out the pens. So if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. If you'd like to comment on anything you've seen today, with any of these pens or any of the other things coming up later, I'd invite you to leave a comment down below. So let's jump into it and take a look at the pens I'm using. So I have, starting in Germany, a Senator 0140, a Moster Penkala from Croatia, a Montblanc, Monte Rosa, sorry, drew a blank there, a Camlin Sovereign, a Homo Sapiens, Visconti Homo Sapiens, a Sailor 1911 Standard, and a Parker 45. So those are the pens I'm using. Let's see how they write. As always, I will test the writing in my trusty Bomo Art Journal. So the first pen in use this week is my Senator 0140. I'll be honest, I struggle to find much information about Senator fountain pens. Specifically about the models and such. I can find information about the company, but there's just a lack of information about models. Some of my Senator pens I'd love to review. I don't even know what the model's called. This one is one of those slim black pens I like. If you unscrew the cap, as you will see, a very, very impressive gold nib. All in all, just a very nice pen. There's actually a pretty good ink window there, you just can't see it. So, this is a fine point nib, but you can see there's a decent amount of flex to this nib. The ink in it is platinum, classic, forest black, which is an iron gall ink. And for those of you concerned about my vintage pens and Japanese inks, iron gall inks are supposedly a bit acidic, so I'm assuming this is a safe one. Up next, my Moster Penkala, Croatian pen of the 1930s. When I review this one, which I am working on an outline, so you may see this review in the next few weeks, depending. I'll have some more information about how this name relates to Croatian and Yugoslavian culture. Also, probably some nice macro photography for those who were asking about the nib the last time I had this pen out. It's a little short. This is one that I do post, even though I don't typically post. So, pretty flexible nib. This is a SW68. Like the Senator, I haven't found much about model numbers, so I don't know the significance of all of this. I hope to find out. As you can tell, with winter being over, somebody purchased some new ink bottles. I hesitate to order ink in the winter just because I'm scared of it breaking in the transit. But hey, summer is here. I will revisit this writing sample if I remember before the end of this video. In fact, I'll revisit both of these, but this is the one that's going to be the most dramatic. As iron gall inks, they do change color. This next one is a Montblanc, but it keeps its Montblanciness with the snowflake or bird splat, depending on your point of view. Very, very subtle. Limited to just, come on, just a tiny imprint on the clip. This supposedly was a more student version of Montblanc. Now I guess they focus exclusively on the luxury market. But back at this time, they were still trying to appeal to students. One other neat feature of this pen that I've not seen on others, and if I review it, this has got to make it in somehow, even if it's just a photograph. These diamond-shaped ink windows, unique. Many of these were sold with steel nibs. Oops, I put an E on Montblanc, but that reminded me I should show you the nib. Come on, dude. So Montblanc, Monte Rosa. This is supposed to also be a fine. And the ink in it is, oh, what? If you can't tell from the dramatic color change as I write. Platinum Classic. Citrus Black. I have to say that these iron gall inks brought a lot of excitement to the platinum line. I have not been terribly into platinum inks except for the pigmented black, but I like these a lot. Next is an Indian pen. This is a Camlin Sovereign. It's vintage, I believe, from the 70s. I'll be hopefully uploading a review of this soon. And there, right there, that's one of the problems that I have had with this pen. If it sits too long, and it's only been sitting since afternoon, it's not terribly enthusiastic about starting. Once it gets started, of course, it goes like a champ. But that means I can't just let the pen sit for a while and then pick it up and use it. Fine point. And the ink in it. And I'm not blaming the ink because this isn't the only ink I've had this trouble with. It's Colorverse. Jupiter. Flyby, I think. Now that I write that, I'm questioning myself. No, I'm wrong. Golden Record. When I first start writing with this pen, it comes out kind of dark and looks like Jupiter Flyby, but it's not. Yeah, I like the pen, but this is one of those cases where I will have a few unkind things to say during the review. I had some good suggestions last week with my Visconti Homo Sapiens. An interesting one was to use a little bit of ink shellac and glue in a new finial there, so I may try that. I don't have any ink sack shellac at the moment. Did I say ink shellac earlier? I don't know what that would be. Sack shellac. But I will purchase some and see what it can do. I also had some comments about what a shame it was that such a nice pen is tarnishing. That is actually by design. Visconti did include a cloth so you can polish the bronze. But personally, I like the tarnish. I think that adds character to it, makes it look like an older pen. And that was Visconti's idea. Nice little, whatever you would call that, cap. And unique in my entire collection, a palladium nib. I'm still trying to decide, do I actually like Colorverse inks, or is it the marketing? And, you know, I have a degree in physics, so the marketing definitely appeals to me. And I haven't decided yet. I have a Sailor 1911 standard size. Nice blue color. This has a zoom nib, which in the link to the original review, you can get a nice close-up of what makes it all zoomy. S stands for standard because they come in several sizes. And the ink is Colorverse. Interstellar Space. Which, as I said last week, when I hear the words interstellar space, I think black. I don't think green. And then finally, another upcoming review, Parker 45, which was donated by a viewer. This is a fine nib. And the ink, this time, is Colorverse Jupiter Flyby. And just for giggles and snorts, I'm going to grab this Camlin Sovereign. I won't say that either one is a knockoff of the other, because that's not the point I'm making, but I'm mostly making the point that there's some similarities here. But they are each unique pens, unique to their own manufacturer. So those are the pens I have in use this week. I've been spending my week, you would think, at home, but actually I've spent quite a lot of it at school getting yearbook ready. I'm yearbook advisor, so that's one of those things we have to wrap up at the end of the year. Track scores coming in, graduation, and so on. We graduated our smallest ever senior class this year with 22. After this year, the class sizes start going up. We have 2 more to come that are in their 20s. But all the rest of our classes are in their 30s or 40s, so for long-term employment for me, that's a good thing. Let's see, what else is exciting? Oh, let me just tell you, if you ever get into doing the review thing, or any kind of YouTube thing, batch saved me this week. When I say batch, I mean film several reviews at a time. The reason it saved me this week is everything came out this week. You saw the beautiful tree last week. I don't get sick very often. I don't have allergies too badly anymore. But wow, did they come on strong this year. And I was gross for most of this week. Like hoarse, coughing, hacking. You can probably hear some of it in my voice because my nose is still a little stuffy. I was disgusting. There's no way I could have filmed a review. Luckily, I had batch filmed a whole bunch of pen reviews a few weeks before. Now I'm out. Gotta, excuse me. See, still there a little bit, but nothing like it was. So I still had the Lamy 2000 footage. So all I had to do was edit it together. Didn't have to talk, which was good. You didn't want to see me on Wednesday. Trust me. Nobody wanted to see me. Nobody's wanted to see me all week. It's gotten better Thursday and Friday because we had quite a powerful rainstorm Wednesday night and washed a lot of the junk out of the air, and that's why I'm breathing as well as I am right now. So Thursday and Friday I've spent a lot of time outdoors. I just haven't had time to get outdoors the way I want to, but I've been digging in the garden, and that's where I'd like to take you next. So I'm going to press pause, or stop here. Take this camera out. And I've always reset. See, you didn't know this was beside me, did you? I have always reset the automatic exposure so that it's Uh-oh. There we go. Now we're cooking with onions. So I've always set it so it's automatic. Then I had a really good suggestion to reset the white balance and just set it to white paper here, which has worked out awesome. But I'm about to take you outside, so what works well here in these artificial lights isn't going to work as well outside. So I'm going to put on microphone. Sorry, the Blue Yeti that's over here isn't going outside with me. Make sure I plug this into the microphone. Made that mistake once. And of course you're seeing that I use green screen. So I turned off everything. Let's take a walk upstairs. Did this full footage once. Didn't have the camera turned on. Whoops. So walking outside, let's take a look around. So you can see the garden. It is all dug up now. There may be weather coming. There's warnings of severe thunderstorms for this afternoon and tonight. I thought I was going to get one earlier, so I abandoned all efforts, but it never came to fruition. Let's take a look at the garden. You can see you can see a hose running here. I'm going to be experimenting this year, watering the garden. Oh, Robin! Watering the garden this year with drip tape. We'll see how that goes. That'll eventually be buried under grass clippings as my neighbor comes through for me. Compost pile, new compost pile made just today. Part of it collapsed during all the wind, but I'll pile it back up later, not right now. Some of that'll end up in the garden. Over here, that will all be in the garden because I'm going to be refilling with food scraps. This bed will be, nothing's planted here yet, and you can tell I did this one quite a while ago. This will be like lettuce and things that don't like heat well because this is a little more shaded. Over here I have cucumber, and I forget what the thing in the middle is. I guess I'll find out. Some lemongrass and a petunia. Eggplant at this end. A mystery crop, and I already see weeds cropping up. In the middle, I haven't 100% decided. I'm thinking onions or something. That's about all the live plants I have left to plant out. And then I have tomatoes at this end, which one or two of them already need cages, so that's awesome. Very healthy rhubarb plant, although it's been severely battered by the wind today. This bed, I have my peppers. I also put some purple kohlrabi in because the purple kohlrabi will be done before the peppers get very big. Those are seed stalks from the rhubarb. They'll get covered by compost. Oh, I see another one to break off. Over here, asparagus. It needs another year or so before I can actually start harvesting it, so we'll just let it grow. Gotta be patient. And cucumbers again. This end of this bed I have nothing. I'm not sure yet. I gotta figure it out and lay everything out in my head. You'd think I'd have it all laid out. And then I have a combination of broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale. I've got some Christmas lights. I'm going to try putting on these just for pretty. They're solar powered, so why not? Got one there. By the way, the garden actually started between those two stumps. That's how larger it was. And didn't go this far toward the alley, and it didn't go into the yard as far as it does, so it's grown. I've got to do some weeding in the path yet. This bed here, I have nothing at this end, but it'll be some seeds. At the other end, I have some decorative flowers and decorative cauliflower, which will be like purple and what was one, orange, some kind of a pyramid cauliflower, so that'll be interesting. And I'm planning, if my shoulder cooperates and everything else cooperates, I'm going to expand and put one more bed there. And if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to force it. If it doesn't work out, we'll do it another year. Just do a little bit at a time. And some petunias that are supposed to spread and hang over the basket. My neighbor had a machine that does edging, and then I had to go clean it up, of course, along the curbs. But then I'm using it to fill some low spots in my lawn so it'll eventually be more level and even. This bed, I am not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's so miserable to grow stuff here. I'm tempted to actually fill it in with make it like a sidewalk or something. This, I have not touched. Clearly I need to trim. I'm actually going to use Roundup around some of the places I need to trim. This is one of those places I'm going to use a shovel. I'm going to expand that bed because there's actually an edge there. Some edging material that came with the house, but it's all rotted now. So I'll dig it all up. I'll expand it out to the kind of sidewalk thing there and then hate to do it, but I'm going to use some Roundup. And I'll put some blocks and things, use Roundup on this mess, and just all in all kind of clean it up. Those Christmas lights, which got buried in snow before I ended up taking them down, so that's why they never got taken down, are going to end up moving out to the garden. Hopefully my mother doesn't ever see this video, but she planted this. I really need to weed it and clean it up. And again, the edging is all rotted, so I'm going to dig it up. I'd like to just square it off. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but that's the plan. This tree I thought died last year in the drought, but as you can see, everything is a lot greener this year than it was last year, so the tree is looking good, so I'm happy. It has new growth, and that's what matters. This tree was a volunteer when I first moved here, and it's of course doing just fine. I haven't touched these beds, but I'm hoping to put in some sunflowers. I have some extra pepper plants, and then the seeds that don't fit in the backyard are going here. My parents brought me 2 blueberries, which got somewhat frozen over the winter, but they're there. Chives, which that's the original bunch, right? Put my foot by it there, but then it is spread. And you can see multiple years of cleaning this up is why I don't have a big weed problem. Although where all the grass went that was covering this last fall is a little bit of a mystery. The irises were pretty for the 3 or 4 days they lasted. But yeah, that's my deal. And I hate using chemicals on the lawn, but once a year I do spray dandelions and stuff, so there you go. It's working. And of course, my edging, for what it's worth, for a house that's never had it done, I guess that's good. So this is my little corner of paradise. Nice small house. Needs a little work yet, but with school ending, yearbook ending, I'm going to have more time to work on it and get it looking all cottage-like again. And in a few years, new roof and some other improvements, and we'll make this, for a small house, something to be jealous of. So those are the pens that I have in use this week. This is pens and inks and so on. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens and inks, at all price points, I'd invite you to subscribe. If you'd like to talk about any of the pens you've seen today, or perhaps the garden, I would welcome any comments that you have. And as always, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.